No, Labour Party, please. Don't follow Oshiomole to misinform the public. Mr. President, um, I'm not very comfortable with this bill in the sense that I've read the objectives of this bill, and I do not think that we do not have the framework to manage our road transport system presently as to going to establish a national road transport council, national council. If you look at all the things happening in the road transport sector, we already have agencies of government that regulate movement of vehicles on our roads. We have the Federal Road Safety Commission, if we are thinking about how to maintain safety in the usage of our roads. The Federal Road Safety Commission is a well-constituted commission that is working across the Federation of Nigeria. There's no place you don't see them. They are well-staffed. Aside from them, in the Federal Ministry of Works, you also have vehicle inspection, VIO. That department also gets involved in the management of our road transport usage, VIOs. They're everywhere. You see them. If you begin to talk about a council that will regulate and coordinate activities of National Union of Road Transport Workers and the rest of it, these are agencies that are also operating. They are in place. State governments have road usage management agencies. State governments, like in my state, we have Anambra State Traffic Management Agency, ASTMA. They're all over the place, wearing uniforms. So a National Road Transport Council is because the necessary things have not been done. He had a motion 2 months ago that was delayed because of the Ramadan break, when 26 people died. I live in Enugu, and I told him I would like to co-sponsor that motion. But because of the holidays, we couldn't go forward. So we have agencies of government that can do this. Federal Ministry of Works have not been able to solve the problem there. When he was speaking, Senator Ostangu contributed finally to the cause of the problem there. This is a place where you have two roads on different layers. One is below the other, and the other one is out of use. They've not done that lane. The one that is on a higher lane has to carry all the vehicle traffic, trailers and all manners of things with congestions on the road. So because of the failure of the Federal Ministry of Works to do the lower layer, so that vehicles going to one direction will all go through that way, the other ones coming up will go through the other way. Everybody has recourse to one lane, and it has continued to cause carnage. I don't see what another National Transport Road Council will help us do if these agencies cannot effectively do this. The Federal Ministry of Works repairs our roads. The Federal Road Safety Commission is there to direct vehicle movement and traffic management on our roads. Because once we pass this bill, you go into another bureaucracy of setting up a council that will begin to talk about Touts and all manners of things. These people are already regulated. There are agencies of government in place to regulate these activities. So I'm not opposing the bill because I don't like the thing, but I read it. If you look at the functions of the National Road Transport Council, you see that most of them are vague. If you read all these things now, you see they are vague in content. Lack of comprehensive policy framework, this is vague. Inadequate insurance coverage, there's no measure for this. Poor regulation and oversight. Who is oversighting and who is regulating and all that. So I've gone through it, and I believe the best thing to do is to ensure that the agencies in place should be strengthened to do their work. the Federal Road Safety Commission is in a position to help us have safe movement of these vehicles on the roads. Then Ministry of Works should do the roads and repair them. If you don't repair the roads, there's nothing the council can do. The council cannot repair the roads. The one we have that is the major problem we are facing in this 9-mile corner, you have also talked about. It's not about any other thing, not about council. It's about the failure of the Federal Ministry of Works to do the second layer of the road, the one that is on a lower level. Do it asphalt so the vehicles can ply smoothly. The other lane will go in opposite direction. And these debts will cease. So I humbly submit, Mr. President, that we have had too many councils and agencies and nothing works. Let those we have be strengthened to do their work. This is my contribution. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Natasha Oduaga.
Argued by Senator Umeh and supported by 2 other distinguished senators. Mr. President, when I was growing up, we have only, under the Nigeria Police, we have the traffic division. And they did their job so diligently, so that if there are roadblocks, you will find them try to manage traffic. If there are accidents, they do everything to establish who is wrong, who is right, preparatory to go to court if the party decide to go to court. Thereafter, we set up the Road Safety Commission. I don't know the experience of my fellow distinguished senators. If you ask me, I do not think even the Road Safety Commission has added value to road transportation, whether it is of promoting safety or ensuring that, that drivers obey traffic laws. Except that you find them under the tree collecting money from poor road users. I think what we need is to make existing institutions to work. And where they fail to work, we evoke sanction. Just recently, I had a conversation with a fellow senator in these chambers. And this senator was shocked about what she observed directly. I don't know why the Turaki of Lorry is blocking the Senate. You are supposed to be seated under the rule. When a senator is standing speaking, other senators cannot be standing. That is the rule. So the new chief whip, please rise to the occasion and protect my right. Chief whip.
Please address the chair.
Mr. President, sir. This is your juju struggle. So, Mr. President, I think this House must be seen to act in a manner that is in tune with those broad policy statements that we have accepted, namely, to avoid multiplication of agencies that have duplicated functions, which is at the heart of the much talked about Oshiomole report. Under your leadership, sir, may it not be said that while Nigeria is committed to cutting federal government excessive overhead expenditure, that more agencies are created that will lead to appointment of more directors, deputy directors, chairmen of board members, etc., all of them drawing allowances, and in the end, nothing changes. We have National Union of Road Transport Workers. They are registered under the Trade Union Act, and that I provide for their own responsibilities. I think if any of us have reservations about the incompetence of the Nigeria Road Safety Commission, which is my view, that they are incompetent, they are not adding value, and yet they are drawing so much for public treasury. Let us, in line with the current spirit of cutting down costs, to meet other more challenging expenses, we don't need to create agency for everything. Because like he said, the last speaker, Senator Agadaga, who supported my sister, Natasha, that we may end up tomorrow, if there's an accident in a boat, we set up Waterways Transport Commission. And then rail, we will set up Rail Transportation Commission. Which country are we competing with? In terms of number of vehicles in relation to our population, there are countries with far more vehicles. They don't have all these institutions. Mr. President, we have all had the privilege of traveling, every senator here. One policeman, if you overspeed, he will arrest you, he will take your card, he will go to his car, he will key in your name to see whether you are wanted for other things. That is the kind of improvement I would like us to see. An officer that is multi-skilled, multi-talented, and multi-task to justify the salary that he or she receives. They can be so well paid, rather than duplication of efforts of institutions and everybody end up being underpaid. I move, sir, that we kill this motion here. It should not go through second reading. There is no apology to anyone who moved a motion because we are discussing issues. We are not discussing the mover of the motion. Every senator here, we are brothers and sisters, including Agadaga, including Natasha, including Senator Umeh, whose name I will never forget again, but I can't forget Abga. So, sir, I support that this motion be killed for the reasons that have been very well enumerated, beginning with Senator Umeh. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I support this bill in totality. And in supporting this bill, sir, I would like to also emphasize on the safety part of it. You see, generally, our problem in Nigeria today on safety is that there is no enforcement on the regulations of the road, no enforcement on the drivers. Drivers drive without proper license. The licenses are not properly issued. Licenses are issued to people that cannot drive properly, sir. And Mr. President, most of our drivers now do not even know the road signs. In those days, when things were properly done, you can't have a license until you are properly tested by a VIO. You have to go through proper tests to make sure you know the road signs. Our drivers today do not even know the road signs. That's why we have road collisions. Mr. President, we also have a problem because the VIO functions are no longer there. In those days, sir, VIOs are professionals. They are either mechanics or automobile engineers. They stop a vehicle, when a vehicle is rickety, they stop it, they check the lights, they check the brake lights, they check everything in the vehicle to make sure that it is all right. And if it is not all right, they put off the road on the vehicle. You have to repair it before you come and pick it. Mr. President, I'm sure President today, road safety people do not even know whether a tire is motorable, whether you should drive a vehicle with a particular tire. Every tire manufactured has a life of only 3 years, and the life is written on the tire. And after 3 years, Mr. President, whether the tires look new or not, they are expired, they combust. So most of the things that are causing all these accidents, Mr. President, is either unprofessional drivers, untrained drivers, and safety vehicles, and indiscipline on the road, because our road safety and the other officials do not enforce the regulations on the road. So, Mr. President, there is need for another look at the VIOs. VIOs should be revived because they check vehicles as they go. Any rickety vehicle are checked, stopped, and confirmed that they are roadworthy. Otherwise, they are put off the road. And they put on the road until they repair it and put it in order. So all these things accumulate to bring all these general problems on roads, sir. It's a miss, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Should not be transported on roads. If we develop our internal road network, internal waterways, for example, products can move from Lokoja waterways down to the south, to the Niger Delta part of Nigeria, to Warri and on airports. That would actually unburden the roads and will now even save and avoid accidents. So what I'll propose, sir, is instead of having it named the National Road Transport Council, it should read the National Transport Council of Nigeria, whereby innovations in other means of transportation can be harmonized. Our waterways, our rail networks are all designed independently and not in a coordinated fashion. So we would love a situation whereby every aspect of our transportation is looked into and developed by deploying the most modern, innovative ways. So, sir, that's my submission. National Transport Council of Nigeria should be the new name rather than the National Road Transport Council. Thank you.
Yes.
Broader than restricting it to road transport alone. Those of us who live in the riverine areas, we need the coordination or the function to the marine transport system there as well. And if we pass this bill, it means tomorrow another bill will come for the marine transport sector. Next tomorrow another one will come for the air transport sector and the rail. And in line with the Science and panel's recommendation, we really don't need to multiplicate these organs in the country. And so if we make it Road Transport Council of Nigeria, to embrace all these areas and have directorates to handle the different areas involved. This is my submission, Mr. President. Thank you so much.
In supporting this motion, I want to look at the importance of road transport.
You are
Can you hear me? Sorry. I am Alwyn Yesu. I am from Rivers State, the treasure base of the nation. I represent the Eastern Senatorial District. I want to support this motion because of the importance of road transportation in our economy, not just in Nigerian economy, in the world economy, because it involves moving personnel and goods from one spot to the other. If you don't move items and persons from one point to the other, it means nothing. And so, bringing in a law that will ensure that this particular aspect is properly handled is very welcome. This particular bill has come at the appropriate time. If you consider that road movement generates income for the country, most countries in the world generate a lot of income they use to run their country through road business. One of such countries is England, where most of every activity on the road generates funds. If you drive wrongly, you pay. If you drive too much, you pay. If you go through some areas, you pay. There are areas that are marked and timed. And so if a law comes in to put things properly, like this one that is about to be put in place, it helps. It will help in generating revenue for the country, and it's also a good employer of labor. The driver, the conductor, at least two persons employed. And if you consider that you have more than 1 million vehicles on the road every day, just a rough estimate, it means that you have 2 million people employed moving around. So it's a very wonderful bill, and I want to support wholeheartedly. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Alero.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Muhammad Adam Alero, representing Kebbi Central. Mr. President, I rise to support or to second, sorry, to support this bill for two reasons. Number one, road users presently are not regulated. The only federal agency responsible for the regulation of road users is Federal Road Safety Corps. And it is an act of National Assembly. Secondly, state governments are also responsible for the regulation of road users, particularly when it comes to the issue of vehicle inspection officers. We don't have them at the federal level. No, what we have is the Federal Road Safety Corps. Perhaps they are doing what we call BIO functions at the federal level. So the conflict may likely arise when this council is established, because the state governors or state governments have the VIOs, and they have also their own roads. Equally, we have the federal roads, we have state roads. So there might be conflict. And as you rightly know, both state governments and federal government can regulate on the transportation sector. So, because it is on the concurrent legislative list. So I will suggest that when we go to the public hearing, we try to sort out areas of conflict so that we can come up with a very good framework that will be acceptable to all. So I'm not opposed to this bill, but where there is conflict, we should try to avoid it, particularly on the functions of the state government. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, distinguished Senator Alero, has been done, because I know the road you are talking about, and I'm surprised it's still the same way. You don't, to avoid another life, you may not know whose life. I'm not threatening you, because you take that road yourself. So it's important for something to be done urgently to save other Nigerians from perishing on that spot. And it's also a dangerous area, because there's a bush there, there's a forest there. And so a lot of criminals come out there to harass people because of the undulation. So there's a big valley there. So it's not something that you would tell the military to move. And the military will move, and then 4 or 5 people will be kidnapped. So, so you must involve the Ministry of Works to actually realign the road. And if the reconstruction of the second lane is what will solve the problem, we must do it immediately to stem the tide of fatalities on that spot. I know the road. Thank you for bringing it up. And then see me after this for further action. Senator Hanga, Federal Ministry of Works, describe the situation of the road and see whether they can intervene. As a leader and the senator representing that area, I believe it's something that you can sumo to move a motion, and then we take decisions, and then you follow up.
We have had a motion on that.